NZ Aerosports, Icarus Canopies, now Gyro. That's right, we've rebranded, and Gyro is our next generation. It honours our founder, as that's the name we knew him by, but Gyro also marks the start of a new chapter. And not to be biased, but it's going to be fucking epic. Long story short, we're more us than ever, so if you're new to the sport, or even a Sky God Ninja Turtle, welcome. I think our valiant leader Lucy, Gyro's daughter, says it best.
And we still got that fuck yeah attitude. Rebrand! Woo!
Rebrand woo indeed, Lucy. Anyway, head over to gyro.com for more info and get amongst you legends.
I was 19, broke, unemployed, and sold my girlfriend's canopy for drug money. So I thought I better sew her a new one. What a sentence, and what a story. This describes the humble yet outrageous beginnings of NZ Aerosports, the home of Icarus Canopies, in the words of our founder himself. From getting a paratrooper toy from his mom, watching parachutes at the DZ as a 6-year-old, jumping off the wharf with a parachute made from bed sheets, doing his first jump at 16, sewing his first canopy on a borrowed machine at 19, and starting to sell parachutes out of a garage in 1986, Paul Gyro Martin had an undying love for the sky. Our company started with one man with the wildest of spirits and a true blue sky dream, a renegade. In the time that Gyro created and ran the Icarus Canopies brand until he passed away in 2017, he pushed everything he had to its limits. We miss him, and we always will. Gyro is the next generation of NZ Aerosports. It honors our founder, of course, because it was the name we all knew him by, but Gyro the rebrand also marks the start of a new chapter, our next jump. Gyro is the space between sound and silence, art and science, chaos and calm. Gyro is a state of epic tranquility that transcends understanding. That moment, in the door, in freefall, mid-swoop, where nothing but the present exists. A perfect balance of euphoria and thrill. Gyro captures our passion for flying and our commitment to designing break-the-fucking-rules canopies that deliver pilots pure, wild flight. Hey gang, so I got a new book out. It's called The Upside of Fear, and it's exactly what you think it's about. It's about the good side of, well, getting scared. In it, we talk not only about the science and biology behind fear, but the psychology as well. And it's not just coming from me, it's coming from some of the best in the sport. Omar Alhigelan, Jeff Provenzano, Maxine Tate, and so many more have contributed their sometimes terrifying stories to the book to help you overcome your fear. So head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com. You're going to find the link to the book there, as well as the other books. It's available in ebook, paperback, hardback, and audiobook right now.
Coming straight from the cockpit, it's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go. All right, back in the can for another edition of Lunatic Fringe Into the Void.
Yeah, man.
Yes, absolutely. And we're hitting it up with, I like hitting all ranges, all shapes, all sizes of skydivers, people that do literally everything. And you caught my attention for a bunch of different reasons, but let's just go here. Who the fuck are you, and what do you do?
Well, my name's Mike Washburn, and I work in the Middle East. I'm an instructor, a contractor, working in the Middle East. So that's what I do.
All right. Well, now, before we get too deep into the woods, instructor and contractor, are we talking like military type stuff?
Yeah, for the military.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not in the military though. You're a civilian, or you're in the military?
No. I'm actually a civilian, so I'm retired military from the U.S. and over here in the Middle East, just passing some knowledge.
Nice. Now, what branch were you in?
I was in the Army.
All right. Well, first off, thanks for your service.
Oh, no, thank you.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate you acknowledging it.
Oh, hell yeah, man. You were out doing shit that the rest of us don't want to do, man. That's good stuff. Where were you stationed, and where'd you start out?
Well, I started out. I enlisted right out of high school, and I knew I didn't have the the discipline to go to college, so I wasn't a big fan of school anyway. So and I didn't want to stay at home with mom and dad, so I figured I had to do something. So I decided to join the Army and get the hell out of the house.
Nice.
And so I joined the Army in 1990 and went into something called the Rangers, and I was stationed in 2nd Ranger Battalion for 9 years up at Tacoma, Washington.
All right.
And then moved one time to Fort Benning, Georgia.
All right.
And then 3 years at regiment, 75th Ranger Regiment, and then I switched over and became an officer. So I went from enlisted to an officer.
No shit.
Yeah. So, and the reason why I did that was I was a sergeant first class, spending money like a 4-star general.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, this is not panning out. So I need to figure out the quickest way to make some more money, and that was why I had. I think I just had my oldest at that time. So I switched over, and then I stayed there at Fort Benning. So one of my claim to fame is I did 22 years in the Army, and I PCS'd one time, which is kind of unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, it's funny, and I've had many conversations with all kinds of different skydivers, and I never cease to be amazed at the variety of backgrounds of skydivers.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It's so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And it's not that you would be surprised to find a skydiver that was in the military. You would think that that's common. It's that your personality, when I meet you, you're so outgoing and having fun, and you don't appear to be what I would have expected a fucking Army Ranger to be, which is so cool. It really is. And especially, oh shit, I better salute, officer.
Yeah. So, everybody has this this idea that an airborne ranger is this dude that weighs, 200 pounds, muscular bound. When I, like I said, enlisted in 1990, so I got to 2nd Ranger Battalion, I think October of 90. I weighed 120 pounds.
Holy fuck.
And back then, and it's a lot different now, but back then, really, if you could run,
right,
you were going to do okay.
All right.
And so because I was skinny, I was like a albino Kenyan guy.
Yeah, your fucking boots weighed more than you.
Yeah, exactly. I could run, and I think that's the reason why they kept me for so long.
Wow.
But I agree. It's amazing the amount of. I think that's one of the great things about skydiving is you just meet so many different kinds of people.
Oh man!
And any idea or ideas that you have about certain countries or certain demographics of people, it all gets blown out.
Oh yeah.
And that's. I think that's one of the things that draws me to skydiving is, we'll probably get into it on the team and stuff like that, but that's one of the biggest, one of the great things that I love about the team that we have.
Well, the variety in skydiving is amazing, and you're right. It gets rid of all the borders go away very, very quickly. But when I found out the different vocations or education that people have, a tandem instructor that I think and I used to work with named Hannah.
Yeah.
I had no idea. She's a fucking PhD. And here I am, scraped my way through high school and, fucking fought for every test that I've ever taken.
Yeah.
And here this cute, bubbly, goofy, she's goofy, blonde skydiver turns out to be, leaps and bounds. I don't even want to see her fucking IQ scores. Or you talk to Omar Al-Hijalan and find out that he was a business and all this hardcore stuff, but he's like, one of the founders of modern free flying.
Right.
And you find out all these great things in the background of people and just go, all right, this is pretty fucking cool, man, because it draws everybody.
Well, yeah, and the great thing about it is, it's like Omar. I didn't know who he was. I just found out who.
How great is that?
I just found out who Omar was. Maybe 2 months ago.
Oh wow!
And the great thing about that was I didn't friend him because of who he is or what he did, and then he knows that the friendship that I'm offering, that vibe that I'm offering to him, he knows is original.
Sure.
And then someone said, "Hey, check out this video of this."
Yeah, man.
Who you're talking, and I'm like, "Good gracious!"
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the great things about the skydive community is you become friends first.
Sure.
And then you start learning out people's backstory.
Sure. Well, it's almost, with very few exceptions in the sport, I think you're almost automatically friends with a skydiver just because they're a skydiver. You've got something in common. You've got something to talk about.
Yeah.
And then as relationships continue on, maybe you decide, I'm not going to hang out with that guy so much.
Yeah.
But you still have the respect, for him him or her as a skydiver. But friendships form very, very easily. And I've likened it to the whole foxhole mentality. We do something that's fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
We mitigate the risks, but at the end of the day, whether I'm flying the plane or jumping out of it, I'm doing something that is at a higher risk than most people are used to, and it takes a specific kind of person to be able to handle that risk with comfort, and I think that draws us together quite quickly.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because a lot of people who I know in the military or were in the military, they're like, hey, do you miss it? Do you miss the military? And I don't. And most people say, yeah, I miss it. I miss it for this and that. And I think the reason I don't miss it is I never kind of left it. I left the uniform, but I went from doing something that was very family oriented because
Sure.
Your platoon or your company, depending where you're at, is your family. If besides your immediate family.
Sure.
And then the skydive community is the same. I mean, I tell people that I could easily go to the drop zone and it'd be a bad weather day and it's okay.
Oh, yeah, you have a blast.
Because jumping is not the big part of it.
No, it's the icing on the cake.
Yeah, it is. You're exactly right. It's the icing on cake. The meat of it
Yes.
is the people.
Yes.
And I can just sit there and laugh and joke and people watch. I mean, people watching, it's better than going to the mall and doing people watching.
Well, that was always one of the reasons that my favorite discipline personally for skydiving was doing tandems, either shooting video or taking tandems, because I got to people watch in the extreme.
Yeah, exactly.
Because chances are that guy or girl I'm about to take on a skydive is being themselves for the first time in how long?
Yeah.
And especially in this social media age where everybody is pretending to be the best version of themselves, you get to meet Jack or Jane being themselves.
Yeah.
And it's fucking great. It's great.
And just knowing that they're probably, taking on the challenge of their biggest fear.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that was one of the greatest things about doing tandems for so long is and I'll knock on wood, although I don't intend to do any more tandems, I never had a refusal. And I took really big pride in that only because I got to play psychologist.
Oh, absolutely.
These people are freaking the fuck out, and you have to read this person and go, how do I have to behave and what do I have to say to calm this person down enough to be stupid enough to jump out of this airplane with me and let's go have some fun.
Yeah, I ran, so I've never done, not up until... probably, I don't know, a year ago, I did my first tandem ride.
Okay.
So I was the passenger. I was the bitch in the relationship there. And I ran from it because, to me, it was the most scariest thing that I could think of because you're handing over your life to one person.
Yes.
And even though I know this person, because most people
sometimes that makes it worse.
Yeah. Well, that's true too. Yeah. Like RZA,
right?
I love him to death, but I don't know.
Right.
But I'm thinking, these people are showing up. They have no clue who Dean is.
Yep.
And they're just like, here's my life.
Yep.
And I'm willing to give you, and it's a huge responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
People are like, hey, Mike, why don't you get your coach rating or get your tandem rating? And I'm just like, it's just too much responsibility.
Sure.
I mean, it's an amazing amount of responsibility that you have. But
well, in the extreme, when it came to tandems, when I started doing them, the majority of the people that we had doing tandems out of Las Vegas were Japanese that didn't speak English.
Yeah.
And I tried to put myself in their shoes, and I tried to fathom what it would take for me to go to another country where I did not speak the language, and without being able to communicate, put my life in someone else's hands. And there's literally nothing. It was. I had been in the sport for years and years before the first time I rode bitch on a tandem after my initial tandems when I started, and I had to do it as part of a course.
Right.
And it was horrifying.
Yeah.
But, like, I was almost ready to just go, fuck it, I guess I don't need to be a skydiver anymore.
Yeah.
Because it was terrifying. So, but we've jumped way ahead because I want to know how you got started in skydiving. What was the first jump? Was it military or was it civilian?
Yeah, so my first jump was, it's kind of funny. The first time I flown on a plane, I jumped out of the plane. So I grew up.
I took a few of you.
Yeah. So I grew up in Yorktown, Virginia, and I had grandparents in Florida and Indiana, so you could drive there. So I never got on the plane until airborne school. So I went to airborne school in 1990, and of course it was static. And I'll be honest with you. My dad was airborne. My brother was airborne. So I was just like, well, I got to do that.
Sure.
And the Ranger thing came. I was like, well, I gotta up my brother and my dad. So I did this Ranger thing, and
I like how you say that Ranger thing, like it's not a big deal. You're fucking Ranger, man.
So Rangers nowadays are amazing. But anyway, so so I started static line in the Army, and then I had an opportunity to go to military freefall, and that's when I was about halfway into my military career, and that's where I learned. I'm like, wow, man, this freefall thing, the landings are a hell of a lot better than static, And but I did that for a short while, then became an officer. And back then, I still think it's the same. I retired in 2012, so Army's changed quite a bit. But you only did free fall if you were in a job that required it.
Sure.
So I got out of it for a while. Then I got another job in the Army that had the ability to free fall again. And then the closer I got to 20 years or 22 years, I ended up doing 22 years, the less I liked it. I think the older you get, you're kind of like, when you're young, you're just like, I'm going to just jump out of the airplane. When you get close to retirement and you're like, ooh, I really need my legs after the Army, I bounced off the pavement a couple times and stuff like that. So I had no desire to ever jump again.
Okay.
So now I'm retired, work in the U.S. for a couple years, and then I get a job over in the Middle East, and this is how I got into skydiving. So I'm in the Middle East, and I'm living in a hotel, and for a year. First year was in a hotel, and I'm with 6 other military guys that came over at the same time. There's only one place to meet in a hotel,
right?
And that's the bar.
Sure.
And I was a big drinker prior to getting married, and then I just kind of walked away from it after I got married. And so I went there as a social beer guy.
Sure.
And next thing you know, 1 beer leads to 2 beers, that leads to 3 beers. And like 6 months into it, we're down in 5 beers a night. And I just like, I can't keep doing this.
Right.
I'm not young anymore. It's not really, it's not the best place to be getting intoxicated. So I was like, I got to get a hobby. And so where I was at, there's not a lot of hobbies to do. I did some dirt biking in the Army when I first was in 2nd Ranger Battalion, and I was like, that's a good way to get yourself screwed up.
Sure.
And so anyway, make a long story short, I didn't like scuba diving. If it was socially accepted, I probably wouldn't shower. I'm just not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of water.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so... But anyway, so I see this skydiving thing. I'm like, let me go check it out. I can burn a Saturday.
Sure.
Driving to this drop zone and checking it out. And what sold me was I seen this pretty well-known wingsuiter Noah, and I didn't know what a wingsuit was. So I see him come off this plane wearing this wingsuit, bright yellow wingsuit, and I'm like, man, what is that? That's
right.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, that dude looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's going on there? And so I end up finding out that he's an American. So I'm like, okay, let me, he'll recognize my accent. He'll know I'm American. So I talked to him, and he seemed like a pretty good dude. He's like, yeah, man, I like doing this, and blasey. And then, so that night, I'm pretty excited, and I'm like, I'm going to tell my son about this thing called wingsuit. So I tell my youngest son, hey, I'm thinking about jumping again, and there's this thing called wingsuit.
He knew all about it, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. My youngest son's like, oh, my gosh, Dad, that is so cool, man. There's this guy on YouTube I watch all the time. I go, really? He goes, yeah, his name's Noah, man. He's just a badass dude. It's amazing. I'm like, really, Noah? He goes, yeah. He goes, dude's amazing. So, man, so that's what really sold me. Now I'm like, okay, my son's psych. It's something exciting. I'm remembering the Halo freefall days where you can land softly. So I really got in it to get off the beer.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's what got me going. And then Noah kind of sold the deal.
Hey, it's funny too that, and you're not the first person that's gotten into the sport from a random meeting of an icon in the sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of the ways that I define somebody that I think is an icon in the sport is not necessarily just for the things that they've done, but like Omar or like Noah are not the first, but the last people to tell you about all the fucking insanely cool shit that they've done.
Yeah.
Omar is not going to tell you that he did all these amazing things unless you ask him. And if you ask him, of course he's going to share because he's got a lot of things to be very proud of.
And I'll tell you, he's very modest when he shares it too.
Absolutely he is, and I think I've had him on the podcast and in person and shower him with compliments mainly because he was, to me, a hero in the sport because he was at the cutting edge when I was learning how. So he was my version of Noah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at what this guy is doing and going, oh my God, how is that even possible? I want to learn how to do those things. And of course, then it grows into, wait a second, he's just a really fucking cool guy. Same thing with Noah. When I first met Noah, he was Noah. Everybody knew who he was, and I had to do an interview for him, of him for Blue Skies magazine, and he was the most low-key, casual, kickback, tell me everything that's going on, no bullshit guy.
Yeah.
That's, to me, what makes an icon in skydiving is the no sky god attitude.
I didn't know who he was until my youngest son told me, and I had talked to him in place.
Which, how fucking cool is that?
Yeah, well, you know what's cool is that I ended up going back to the drop zone, telling Noah about my youngest son. I said, bro, you got to do me a solid. I said, we got to get a photo together.
Right.
He's like, hey, absolutely, Noah. So he's like, absolutely, boom. And then I said, hey, just want to let you know, this is who your dad's hanging out with.
Right.
And my son was just like, oh, my gosh.
Of course.
So it's, I think that's one of the things why I don't miss military. One of the great things about when I was in the military was you would do all this cool stuff, and then the same day or that night, you're at the bar and no one has a clue what you just did.
Sure.
And it's pretty amazing stuff that you do. And I think that's one of the great things. Like you said, these guys are you look up to as icons and stuff like that is because they don't brag about it.
Right.
And you don't really know. And,
right.
And Noah was one of them. The latest one was Omar.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
And so many of them.
There's so many of these people out there. And I would tell you there's so many talented skydivers out there that could be.
Oh, sure.
Could be one of those guys.
Sure.
Or gals.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yeah, it's pretty neat.
Well, I've said it before. I've been lucky enough to have some amazing guests on the podcast. And I have all kinds of skydivers on the podcast, people that someone has never heard of and shouldn't have heard of because they're just, Joe Blow jumper, and I want to hear perspectives and cool stories.
Oh, absolutely.
All the way up to world champions. And what was always really telling about how cool the top of the rung in our sport is I've had Omar. I've had Craig Girard.
Yeah.
I've had some of the best skydivers in the world come sit in a toilet with me to talk about skydiving. And you're in the pimp studio.
Oh,
so
yeah. Back when it was hard.
Oh,
Back
yeah,
when it was
man.
hard, you had to sit in the shitter.
You're in the upgraded studio, man. My mixing board was above the toilet. I sat on the toilet. There was no air conditioning, so we basically sat, and Craig Gerard and I were wiping sweat off of our forehead, talking skydiving in a toilet.
Yeah.
You know, who the fuck does that? You know?
Oh, yeah.
And it was so much fun, even more fun for me because, of course, I'm sitting there going, I can't. That's fucking Craig Gerard. Craig Gerard.
Yeah. He's sitting in my shitter.
Yes, which is amazing. But of course, he's just a dude, you know, and he didn't think a thing of it. It was just fun.
Yeah.
It was cool.
But you know, I think that's one of the great things about people in the skydive community is that it never, you know, they never thought about it. I mean, I think they would be more like, I think it's pretty cool. I feel cheated that I don't get to sit in a shitter and talk to you. And I think that's what's great about skydiving community,
right.
where, you know, now, great, next time I run into Omar, he's going to be like, hey, bro, back when it was hard, you had to sit in Dean's shitter to talk to him. You know, you got it. Yeah, you're in this beautiful place now with canopies and soundproofing material and a leather chair. But I would tell you, I would argue the fact, I think I've been cheated, man. It'd be pretty cool to sit in the shitter with you and shoot the shit.
I'll tell you what, next time we'll do that.
Yeah, there we go.
We'll go out. Next time we have a conversation.
Yeah.
In fact, we've agreed, and I'll even say it on the podcast, we've agreed that there's one subject we're not talking about, which is politics.
Yeah.
When we finally decide to talk politics, we'll do it in the toilet, because
that's
where that shit belongs.
That's where that shit belongs, absolutely. And there'll be a lot of times to hearing that commode flush throughout that conversation.
Man. Well, and so here's another thing, not to even really touch that subject, but to brush it. One of the coolest things about skydiving in general is you and I know, without ever having discussed it, that we have opposing views on a few things.
Yeah.
And I don't give a fuck. Because we have this great thing that we can sit and talk about. And I know that in that respect, person to person, you and I are enough alike and have enough of the same values and enjoyment and all those things that it's easy for us to just go, you know something? That's going to fuck us up. So we're just not going to go there.
Yeah.
We're going to stay here. And I like that.
Yeah. Or you do go down that rabbit hole.
But you have enough respect to.
But at the end of the day.
Well, see, that's the thing. I mean, I can already tell you right now, even just after this short conversation and the talks that we've had before, that if we did get into a heated political discussion, at some point one of us would go, you know something? This is going the wrong direction. Time out.
Yeah.
Because you're a friend of mine.
Yeah.
And I don't want this to get ugly.
Yeah. And I think that's because, I mean, let there be no doubt. I've gone down these rabbit holes.
Sure,
and
we all have.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's and I think that's one of the great things. If you can talk politics between loads, because by the time you go up
short
to
doses.
that, it's just short doses. Because once you get up in that plane,
it's all
then
gone.
it's all gone,
Yeah.
and then it's you looking at him going, okay, what are we doing? And how close are you going to fly to
Right.
me? And then it just all so.
It's a great ability, and I think skydivers do a really good job of it. I'll never forget, and I've told this story on the podcast before, but it's worth re-mentioning. At the first big drop zone that I worked at was Skydive Las Vegas, and I was shooting video out there, and there was a tandem instructor that only jumped with us part-time because his regular job was for Vice's, the Las Vegas' version of the Vice Squad. So he was basically drug enforcement in Las Vegas. One of the other very regular fun jumpers on the drop zone was a pot dealer. And I remember eavesdropping and overhearing a conversation between these two who on the drop zone were friends, but they both knew exactly what they did.
Yeah.
And it was, hey, let's have a good jump. And it was the high five or whatever the popular handshake at the time was. And then the cop leaned in nice and quiet and just jokingly said, if I ever catch your ass off the drop zone. And it was just that known thing that, hey, look, all bets are off on the drop zone, man. None of that shit matters here. We're brothers.
Yeah. That's neutral territory.
And it's really fucking cool because, I mean, I think not just America, the whole world could use a big dose of neutral territory about now.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? All of us could. And it's funny because it's so easy to get along if you just kind of hit the pause button on the rest of that bullshit.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the great thing about any passion you may have or a hobby that you have where you can just break away from, I guess, what you would call the real world and spend a day out on the drop zone, and as you know, you get up in that air, you don't have a care in the world.
No,
I mean, you could be a guy with all kinds of problems at home or all kinds of financial problems, but for that 40-second or 3 minutes.
Oh, I'd argue
it all
that's
goes, yeah.
I'd argue that's more the real world than the rest of it.
Yeah.
The rest of it is the shit we have to suffer through to be able to enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
That this is the penance we pay
Yeah.
to be able to go do that.
Absolutely.
Which is that's just fine.
Yeah.
Now back onto your jumping. So you show up in and do what I, as an AFF instructor, hate more than anything. You show up and go, I want to jump wingsuits.
Yeah, I from the time I'd seen Noah for that, I mean that I think 10 seconds after seeing him and hearing someone say, when I asked, hey, that's a wingsuit, I go,
right.
Gosh, that's what I got to do. I got to do that. I didn't know what the hell it did. I didn't know how many jumps or whatever. All I knew was if I'm going to get back into this, that's my goal.
That's the goal?
Yeah.
All right. So you start jumping again. You obviously, now, if I'm not mistaken, at least this is the way that it used to be, military jumps do not translate towards civilian skydiving.
Your military freefall does for jump numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, but obviously I have to go, you have to go back. You have to go through AFF.
Sure.
Now your static jumps don't.
Right.
But your I'll give you an example. Was it? I think it was for your C license or D license. You used to have 2 night jumps.
Right.
I used my 2 military. Well, I had more than 2, but my military night free fall.
Nice.
To get that, and because at the time it was just hard to get a night. I
Sure.
think that's probably why they got rid of that. It was because it's hard to get a night jump.
Speaking of military night jumps, before we get too sidetracked, I was lucky enough to fly very briefly for Skydive San Diego.
Uh-huh.
And Skydive San Diego hosts TAC Air, which was the military freefall school for the SEALs.
Yeah.
So I flew for them briefly, and I'll never forget, I'm flying at, I think it was like 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and these guys are jumping out over not huge, but mountainous terrain, or I should say foothills anyway, on the border of Mexico. And I mean on the fucking border of Mexico. And their only reference for landing is a 50-gallon fucking drum lit on fire. At the time, I've got, 9,000 jumps and I don't know how many hours flying in the plane. And I'm watching these guys jump out, and I've been told that these guys have 10, 12 jumps.
Yeah.
Looking out the plane as they're going, not a fucking chance in hell would I be doing that jump. And out the door they go. And I just remember being blown away, going, you got to be shitting me.
Yeah, I think one of the things is it's such a hard school to get. Obviously, there's certain branches in the military where you get it right. It's part of your training.
Sure.
I was very fortunate to get a slot to go to military freefall, and when that ramp cracked open, I was just like, "Why am I here?"
All right.
I don't need to be here.
Right.
And then there's this thing that kicks in, and it's I don't know, you can call it pride, you can call it respect, you call it whatever it is, but I was like, okay, everyone would kill for this slot, so I need to go ahead and jump out of this plane. And when I jumped out, I just started in over end. I didn't know what I was doing. And, luckily 2 free fall instructors came in and grabbed me and got me stabled out. But I got a bunch of stories I could tell you of how I screwed up in military free fall that I just got lucky and scraped by and passed a course. But we'll save that for when we're in the shitter.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, we've all got a couple of stories where we just kind of scrape by.
Yeah.
It's those ones that you tell very hesitantly because you're like, well, I'm not fucking proud of that one at all. I didn't. I didn't.
I got quite a few of those.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what though, it's those stories both in something like military school or just in skydiving in general that keep you humble because you walk around with this knowledge that there's a couple of those you just flat out didn't fucking earn. And it's that that voice way back in the background that tells you you're a fraud. You don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Well, I would tell you, it wasn't that I didn't earn it. I just got lucky.
Yeah,
So
fair enough.
yeah. So it was. I always tell people. I think everyone in life is perpetrating a fraud at some point.
Of course we are.
You and I think that's part of the survivability of being a human is, sometimes you got to act somebody that you're not really just to get to the next week or anything like that.
Sure,
But
sure.
yeah, we'll definitely talk a couple good stories about how I got very lucky.
Fair enough.
During military free fall, but they'll be good stories.
It's funny. I mean, yeah, I think we're all obviously we're all putting up a front, and more today than any other time. Again, social media and all that, and you always want to try and put up this front. And I'm sure you've discovered this as well. The older I get, the more that front disappears, and the more I'm just, something. Fuck it. I'm too tired to.
Yeah.
I can't put up that facade anymore. This is me. Not the greatest skydiver in the world, not the worst skydiver in the world, not the best jump pilot in the world, not the worst jump pilot in the world. It just. It gets to be too much.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is. I think it is. When the older you get, it wears you out quicker.
Yeah.
And you're just like. But I think the other thing is. Man, if you can't laugh about yourself, if you can't joke about being screwed up, or and when you're younger, you don't do that because you want to thump your chest. But I got to laugh at myself daily. I mean, if I don't, I'll go crazy.
Oh, God, yes, man. I spent 10 years writing for Blue Skies magazine, and I think 90% of the articles are me taking the shit out of myself for the dumb shit that I got away with, and some of the ones that I didn't get away with.
Yeah, and that's probably why you survived 10 years.
Yeah, you got to be able to laugh at yourself and not take yourself too seriously.
Yeah,
because the guys that take themselves too seriously, those are some scary motherfuckers. Man.
They are.
Yeah. Those are the ones that don't. They end up snapping.
Yeah.
So you dig yourself into, I'm back in this and I have this goal. I'm gonna go be a wingsuit pilot.
Yeah.
So how does that go?
Well, it's I go through AFF. So my AFF instructor was Pablo, and who's pretty well known at a drop zone. And I got to quit telling all these stories. But anyway, real quick on him was this was 2014.
All right.
Okay, and Pablo's English was not as good as it is today, and so I just put my name on the list. I show up extra early. So I it's AFF, the deal. If you got to get on that first load,
yeah, man.
So I'm up there early and put my name on there, and then Pablo draws me, and Pablo's talking to me, and his English was straight up terrible, man. And let me tell you something, I can barely speak English myself. I just at work they were making a joke about some things that I was saying that was not grammarly correct or whatever, and I'm just like, hey man, I've never claimed to be an expert at English,
right?
But and I just couldn't understand him. But he was he had this fire in him.
Oh, he's passionate.
Yeah, and I loved it, man. I just felt good around him, but I didn't know what the hell he was telling me, right? And I was raised to be extremely polite. That's
a Southern.
Yeah, I could tell you about my mom and dad, and it would be hours and hours. I mean, two of the most fantastic people in the world is my mom and dad, and everything I have has a lot to do with them. But anyway, so I'm too nice. I was raised too nice to say, bro.
Fuck are you saying?
What I should have said is, man, I don't understand you. Can I get another instructor?
Right.
But I just didn't have it in me, right? But I love the energy this guy was giving me, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, I don't know what to say to this dude because I don't know what he told me. So I'm just like, yeah, okay, yeah. And he's like, okay, you good? You know what you got to do? I'm like, yeah. And I didn't know, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to read into the book of exactly what these jumps do and what you're supposed to do in the jumps. And then luckily Pablo's very animated with his hands and stuff like that, so I was able to kind of put it all together. And so when we go on the first one, we get down, Pablo's like, yeah, that was good. He was never negative.
Right.
And that's so important,
Sure.
especially when you're doing something that because we all put this self-induced stress on ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And then I can only imagine someone who's never jumped. I mean, I had the military stuff, so I wasn't as scared as probably most people. But anyway, make a long story short, I think Pablo just finally said, "Man, good luck. I'll sign you off, bro." But and I think he signed his name real light with the pen, so that way it would fade over time. But anyway, I made it through off to the races, and I get in the belly, and all this time, all I know is I need 200 jumps to get to
You're
wings.
just counting jumps.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, I got to do this belly thing, and man, I just wasn't good at it. I mean, people nowadays, I mean, belly's hard.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
You know, I get the belly people a lot of shit just because it's just my way of acknowledging to them that I appreciate their discipline, and I know
Sure.
it's not easy. But anyway, real quick story about belly. So I'm doing belly, and there's a guy named Dave and Ali, and they're big belly competition guys. They're not famous or anything, but and they kind of bring me on. They're like, "Hey, you can jump with us," and so this drop zone was doing these in-house competitions.
Sure.
And so they're doing this belly competition. It was a 4-man, and I had been working with Dave and Ali for a while, and they're like, all right, let's go. And make a long story short, I found it very confusing. You got to grab here, you got to spin here, you got to do this and,
Right.
all that. And I'm not a big guy. I'm kind of bony, and laying on that damn roller thing, whatever they call it.
The creeper.
The creeper, bro,
Yeah.
is just tearing my chest up, bro. I'm just like, man, this is not fun, you know. Anyway, so we're in for the hunt for third place, right?
Right.
You know, and Dave and Ollie's like, man, this is their claim to fame, right?
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, man. He's like, okay, we just got to hold it together, man. You know, if we just pull off a decent jump, we're going to get third place. We'll podium, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's a huge deal, man.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
man. Well, the only time I ever do a sit fly is on this fucking jump, man.
Yeah, it's not a good
And
thing.
I fucking fuck it for them.
Oh,
And they're like, oh my God. And I blew it for the team.
sure.
And I was just like, Dave and Ollie were, I mean, I could tell they were disappointed, and rightfully so. And that's when I'm like, yeah, I don't think this discipline's for me.
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, well, where do I go next?
Right.
And so I go to tracking. And
Which is heading in the right direction if you're going to jump wingsuits.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought. Anyway, so I ended up doing a lot of coaching for tracking, and I liked it. And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. And then there was a coach at the drop zone, Stefania, and she was a free flyer tracking coach, and she was a great gal, and she taught me how to track and to steep track. And I basically tracked for 150 jumps, and once I hit 200, I was out. I was like, I'm gone. See ya. I don't want to talk to anybody.
Right.
I'm like, get away from me, you nasty belly guys. I'm going to a wingsuit. So obviously you got to go through wingsuit school, you know,
Sure.
ground school. And so I meet this cat from Canada.
Yep.
Yeah, his name's Darren.
Darren, eh?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm like, hey, I want to get in wingsuits. Okay, you know.
Darren's a pretty intimidating Canadian.
Yeah, I would tell you, that he's the perfect coach to really teach you the basics of. Now, I'm not saying he can only teach the basics, but he's very focused on the proper way of the wingsuit.
Sure.
And now, I'm going to tell you, no guy getting in a wingsuit's going to like it. I mean, I hated it. I was
Sure.
just like, good God, this guy reminds me of being in the military. I mean, this, what the hell? You
Yeah.
know? I'm
Yeah.
like,
He's pretty intense.
yeah, so, but anyway, this is where tracking wasn't that great. So one of the things you got to do is you got to jump out of the plane like you're wearing a wingsuit. You know, and I'm like, that's kind of stupid, you know, but whatever. I want to get in a wingsuit, so whatever I got to do, I'll do it. Well, the problem was I had done so many tracks back to back to back, and literally it was probably, 150 tracks or close to 150 tracks, well over 100. So I hop out, and I got my arms where they're supposed to be, but my ass is sticking up in the air.
Sure.
So I'm kind of like tracking with my arms out wide.
Right.
And we land. Darren's like, nope, go back up. Now, a normal person knocks it out on their first one.
Right.
Maybe their second one. Okay. I'm on number 8.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. I'm on number 8. and so take that. So it takes me 8 jumps to figure out how to get my ass down. Now, that's like, that shouldn't even be an issue.
Sure.
So now just think about all the problems I'm fixing to have.
Sure.
When I get in a wingsuit.
Yeah.
Quick story about Darren. Darren has this, I call it a foot fetish. And
do tell.
Yeah. So Darren has this issue with your feet being properly in the right position when flying with a wingsuit.
Right.
And it makes sense. Your feet can be a rudder in the air, right? Like a plane or like a boat. And so Darren, he's very attention to detail. Which is a military thing. He's from Canada. I think they have a military. But anyway, that's just a joke. They actually have a pretty good.
That is the most American thing you've said.
But anyway, so he's like, man, this foot, and I finally lose it. And so, I finally get frustrated. And normally if I get frustrated with somebody, we built that relationship to where now we got to a level where I can express some feelings that I have that I don't. So I'm like, look, Darren, let me tell you something. let me tell you, if I can fix this fucking foot, I would, just to hear you shut up. But my brain is not talking to the foot.
Right.
Now, make a long story short, 2 years, probably $20,000 to fix that foot.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, bro. Darren finally just gave up on the foot. He's like, yeah, okay, your right foot's going to stick out. Yeah, so, but...
well, I'm just glad you didn't put your foot up his ass.
Yeah, I tell you, he's... we've had some heated conversations at the drop zone. There's and Darren, we laugh about it now, but there's a couple times where we got in some heated discussions.
Well, it's when you have to learn to appreciate the passion that someone else has got and take it with a grain of salt and then mix in their experience as well and go, okay, wait a second. I know this guy knows what he's fucking talking about, but he's getting on my last nerve.
Yeah. And I would tell you, man, if I listened to him more than I did, I'd be a hell of a lot better wingsuiter, I think.
Well, that's the thing, right? I mean, every time that I've been under the impression that someone has failed to teach me, it wasn't their failing in teaching me. It was my failing in absorbing and learning or resisting.
Resisting.
That's the downside to guys like you and I that are a little bit older and have some experience behind us.
Yeah.
We don't want somebody telling us what to do. Because I'm supposed to fucking know. I'm supposed to tell them. So
and I think the other thing is it's a little bit of that, and it's also... You just get pissed at yourself.
Sure.
That golly, man, this why can't I get my foot there? And then he's harping on you, get your foot there, and you're just like, dude, I know I'm fucked up.
Oh yeah.
And I don't need you reminding me 6 jumps.
Right.
Every so back then we were jumping. You could easily jump 12 jumps. Pre pandemic. So,
yeah. Oh
yeah. So I'd get 12 jumps, 15 jumps in a weekend. And you times that by 2 years, man.
Oh yeah. Well, and eventually you're like, my foot is his fucking fault.
yeah. So the great thing about it is, I still see Darren on a regular basis, and anytime we're up in the air and, someone's like, hey, that's a pretty cool wingsuit. What do I do? I get into it and Darren will make us Snickers and stuff like that. And I'm like, hey, bro, you're my coach. So be careful what you say.
Right.
Because you're the one that coached me.
That's pretty fucking funny.
So it's I really enjoy the relationship that we have.
For sure. Well, and I'll tell you what, the best relationships that I have with a lot of different people started out as very antagonistic relationships.
Yeah.
One of my close friends that was an instructor I worked with for a while, shout out to Nitka, Goraz Nitka, very hard-nosed, Middle Eastern, things will be done my way kind of thing. And we butted heads hardcore and finally sat down face-to-face. And I'm like, dude, you're a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And he said, dude, you're a fucking asshole. And from that moment on, we're like, oh, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Now we're
all on the same sheet of music now.
Now we're really good friends because we're just two assholes being friends.
I tell you, I think me and Darren were a lot like that. I mean, there was a time where we almost didn't talk for a year.
Sure.
And we're both stubborn people, but I think our friendship is better for it. I think going through that has made it. But anyway.
Well, and that's the again another. I fall back on the great thing about skydivers is even if you don't get along with someone, like I have skydivers that I actively avoid, that I still respect.
Yeah.
And that's something that most situations don't lend to. Back in the days when I had a real job in the real world, if I didn't like someone, fuck that cocksucker.
Oh, yeah.
I can't stand this person. Piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. But if it's a skydiver, I'm not fond of that person and I'm going to keep my distance, but I'm not going to talk shit. I'm not going to.
Yeah, exactly.
I have that respect.
And I think everybody has those at the drop zone. I mean, I certainly do. I mean, I got guys. I got friends at the drop zone that we just don't see eye to eye on certain things, and I talk about we don't see eye to eye on when it comes to jumping stuff, skydiving in general, but we acknowledge that. And we set that aside,
that's respect.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
Which is, again, I think that goes way back to what I said at the beginning, that whole foxhole mentality. I don't necessarily have to love the guy that's next to me, but I damn well respect him and I trust him. And that's a big fucking thing.
Well, yeah, and there's and we'll get into this when we start talking about the team, but there's a lot that people in the world can learn just from watching a drop zone, and especially a drop zone that you have a lot of mixed cultures and countries that go to it. Drop zone in Alabama, you're going to get mostly Alabama guys and gals, but
an international drop zone.
Oh,
can you imagine the reality TV show?
Oh,
that would have gone on. Like, we used to joke around that the greatest reality TV show at the time would have been Cross Keys when we were there in 2004, 2005, because it was sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
And it was from people from all around the world. Yeah. Like, I met the whole world in the shittiest little small town in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And it was amazing because I was working with Brits and South Africans and Kiwis and Americans and just people from all around the world with all these varied backgrounds, crazy guys from the Isle of Man and just this wonderful crew of people. And what a fucking reality TV show that would have been. It would have been, oh my God. It would have just been absolutely epic.
Yeah.
And now, speaking of, you mentioned the team, and I want to get into this. You decide you want to be a skydiver again because you want to fly wingsuits. Your first introduction to wingsuits is Noah.
Yeah,
for Christ's sakes. Who your son knows is...
Yeah, who knew of him before I did. Yeah.
YouTube famous for the insanely skillful shit that he's doing. And you decide you're going to push through. You make it through the
gauntlet,
foot issues.
The Darren gauntlet.
You make it through the foot issues and become a wingsuit pilot on your own. And now you're on a team.
Yeah, so Skytrash, wingsuit team.
Where'd that name come from?
So that name came from... when I was in, we'll go back to freefall school in the military. So I'm in Yuma, Arizona.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I've been there.
Yeah. So we're in Yuma jumping during freefall. and the Golden Knights there. They train there as well. Obviously, Arizona has some of the perfect skydiving weather.
Yep.
And so here we are, a bunch of students going through military free fall, and you know the deal. You get your first one knocked out, and you're scared shitless, and then you find out, oh yeah, you can actually survive this, and then you're coming back on the bus from the drop zone, and you're all hyped up, coming off that adrenaline rush. And the Golden Knights, here's guys with 10, 20, 30,000 skydives, and they see the students come off, and it's that rivalry thing, like, oh, here we go, another class of students who think they're shit hot, and then there's the Golden, and then we're looking at the Golden Knights, like, and so they're heckling us, and I just look over there, and I'm like, Skytrash rocks, and so Skytrash is a name that I came up with. That really meant that I flew like a piece of trash in the air. No form, just flapping and that's how my first jump was. I was just like, think about balling up a piece of paper and just throwing it out the plane and watching that thing just tumble.
All right.
And so I kind of nicknamed our little group there Skytrash.
I would love to know what members of the Golden Knights were there when you were yelling.
Oh, I don't know, and of course we're yelling from a bus window, so they probably what did that guy say? But that's how the name started.
We're talking big names, kind of came out of the Golden Knights, Gerard and fucking.
Oh yeah, well you look at what's funny. Oh my gosh, it slips my name. Used to be the manager out
in the desert.
Yeah,
Raul. Yeah,
Bocanegra. So Raul, I recognized the voice and not the face.
Okay.
When I went to freefall school, civilian freefall, ground school, and eventually I said, "Hey, I think I know you, but your voice sounds very familiar." And he's like, and he's like, "Did you go to military freefall?" No, he goes, "What unit were you in?" And I was like, "I was, because we were in the military." I said, "Second." He goes, I was second range battalion. You go to military freefall?" I'm like, "I did." He said, "Like what year?" And I think I went in, I don't know, 97, 98 or some time frame like that. He goes, "That's where you know me from. I was at military freefall school at the same time."
How funny is
that?
that?
It's a small world, huh?
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a Raul story that's just as small.
Yeah.
So I met him when I was traveling abroad and working, and I started flying for the operation that he was working at. And through conversation, I found out that he had worked in Las Vegas. Well, I had worked at every drop zone that ever was in Las Vegas because that was my home DZ was Skydive Las Vegas. And so through conversation, it turned out that not only was he working for the drop zone that I used to work at, but he was living in the house that I used to live in and sleeping in the fucking bed that I used to sleep in before I moved on. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, that's a little weird that technically I've shared a bed with Raul Bocanegra.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's a very small sport.
It is. So anyway, get back to so now I start wingsuiting, and there was a couple of us that were starting wingsuiting at the same time. A guy named Zishan, a guy named Johan, Riza, and we're all in the baby wingsuits, and we all went through Darren's gauntlet. So it was kind of like. We loved Darren, but we were anti-Darren.
Band of brothers.
Yeah, we were the band of brothers taking on Darren, the enemy. We had been through the trenches together.
The fucking Canadians.
Yeah, and anyway, so I was like, we should start a team. We should just because we jump all the time and
sure,
and I go. We fly like shit, so why don't we just call ourselves Skytrash, like trash in the air? And everyone's like, yeah. So they're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's how the name came about. The team, I think it was 2000, late 2014, early 2015 when Skytrash wingsuit team kind of started.
Sure.
Couple other names out there was Rashid Isaac. There's some other people that were involved in all that. Sarah. Anyway, make a long story short, we kept jumping, and the whole deal was you had to fly like shit to be on the team. So, guy like Noah would there's people out there you never would turn down jumping. Sure. Noah. But Noah could never be on the team.
Right.
The guy's just
he's too good.
Yeah, he's too good.
Yeah.
I mean, now he can be honorary member.
Sure.
And he can jump with us, but he can't be Skytrash because you got to fly like shit. And you got to have cutaways too.
All right.
Yeah. So anyway, that's how the team started. So and then it just like any team, people come, people go. There was a short period where I went back to the U.S. to get my youngest son ready to go into the Army, and I was gone for about a year and a half, and the team kind of dissolved. And then 2000, I think 2016 I came back, or 17, 18, no. Yes, 2017. Okay. I came back and I was like, hey, let's get the team back together. And some people came back. Some people were like, I went on to do things. And some people – and then that's when the team really developed, when we decided, okay, we got enough people and we fly to where we probably should all get the same suit.
Yes.
Because – there was some issues with some guys being on a Havoc, some people being on a Freak, let's say, or something like that. So we're all like, and we had gotten some new members in, and the whole way you became a Skytrash member was so there's the pre-Skytrash team where it was just a bunch of guys, and then there's the Skytrash team as you see it now, and those are the guys who actually own a Skytrash wingsuit, blue suit, and jump as a team.
Sure.
And that's what you see nowadays with a team. There is no tryouts. Every person that's on the team was either asked me, hey, can I jump with you? And I'm like, yeah, just come on, or I asked them, hey, you got nobody to jump with? Or it was a friend of somebody who's on the team, hey.
Sure.
And then we do look at the skill set because obviously we want to progress.
Sure.
We found out, a Havoc is a fantastic suit, but a Havoc's not going to stay with ATC. So if you have a Havoc, we're now in ATCs. Well, unfortunately,
sure,
we're not going to, slow down. So when you are ready to get into an ATC, then let's start jumping. So there are, even though there is no tryouts, there are certain things that we have to do just either to make it somewhat safe. And that's the other thing. I think Darren cringes. Is, it's just like anything. It's like when you leave the house, or you get, Darren's like Dad. Dad's no longer, Dad got divorced from Mom, and I'm hanging with Mom now. So right. Screw Dad's rules.
Right.
And then, until you bump each other or do something where you're like, oh, got lucky, then you're like, maybe Dad has some things right. But
sure. Well, and that's the way it goes, though, right? I mean, you get out and you start doing your own things, and then you're criticizing the things that annoyed you when you were learning because you thought they were bullshit.
Yeah.
Until you get shown in very real time that it wasn't bullshit, and you land going, oh,
yeah, and
okay,
and I would tell you, I think some of the, you look at. Not just wingsuiting, but you look at free flying, you look at belly, all the amazing things that they're doing now. A lot of it was somebody taking that risk.
Sure.
Somebody going, hey, we were just talking about it the other day about, so Skytrash, the Skytrash emblem is a trash can, and it's got some skydivers, some wingsuiters coming out of the trash can, and there's trash coming out with it. And we're like, why don't we see if we can get someone a tiny belly flyer and throw them out in a trash can while we try to wingsuit around it.
Right.
and see if we can't do an actual
Do a photo representation of it?
Yeah. So I'm like, well, that trash can's got to land somewhere. What if that
You
little
never know.
person can't get out? But you know what? We'll probably do it one day.
Yeah,
you
you
know,
never
if
know
we
what-
yeah.
Worst case scenario, you go out to Arizona and do the junk day where they let
Oh
you
my
throw
gosh!
any damn
yeah,
thing out.
I know. Yeah.
They'll let you put somebody in a trash
Yeah,
can.
exactly. But yeah, so here's the great thing about the team. Here's what I think is unique about the Skytrash wingsuit team compared to any amateur team out there is one. There's not too many teams out there that have the same color suit, which was one of the reasons why we went with the same color suit. And the other one is, and this is not because the team where I jump, I'm very fortunate to be able to jump with people all around the world. And where, let's say, a wingsuit team in Las Vegas is normally going to probably primarily be, mostly Americans
Sure.
who live in Las Vegas.
Sure.
So right now the team, we have a guy from Iran, Riza from Iran. We have Kareem from Egypt. We have Isaac from Norway. Jan from South Africa. Chris from Ukraine. Alex from Ukraine. Let me see. Who else we have? I think Mike. Yeah, it's not like I got a lot of people on the team. Me from the U.S. Iman, she's Egypt and Morocco.
Yeah.
So we like to say she's from Morocco because we got somebody from Egypt. So I'm like, yeah, you're from Morocco.
Right.
And so we do have a female on the team, and
a kick-ass one at that.
Yeah, I tell you, man, this is where I screwed up. So listen to me out there, people who want to get into a wingsuit. Do your 50 bellies. You got to pay the piper. That's just punishment. Do the 50 bellies, and then go straight to free fly. Because I'm telling you, these cats that are coming in knowing how to free fly, they get in the suit, and I'm like, golly, it took me 3 years to do what you're doing. I mean, because they understand how to manipulate and the little turns here.
That was like watching the Maktoum boys and then watching, guys like Micah.
Yeah.
Who was an excellent free flyer and a hardcore tunnel guy.
Oh, yeah.
And so
well, Michael was just a hardcore guy. I love watching him train, making people do
man.
push-ups when they screwed up. I'm like, damn, you make
man.
Darren look like a chick.
he just to be able to know where you're at and have body awareness in every orientation in any direction, no matter which way the relative wind is huge. Absolutely huge.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you what, my hat's off to you because you got into a discipline that requires those skill sets without those skills and had to
that's
had
why-
to push your way through with a fucked up foot.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, I tell people if I had a wingsuit for a living, I'd starve to death.
But I'll tell you what, man. And here's the funny thing: is whenever you guys are getting ready to load onto a plane, there's no doubt in the world that you guys are there to have fun.
Yeah.
You're having a good come on, you guys call yourself trash.
Yeah.
For Christ's sakes. You clearly are out there to have fun. You're not taking yourselves too seriously, which for me is the pinnacle of a good skydiver, is somebody that wants to have fun, wants to improve, don't get me wrong, wants to be a badass, but doesn't take themselves so seriously that at the end of the day, if they had a shitty jump, it ruins their week.
Yeah.
And you guys don't do that, which is amazing.
Yeah.
You guys always have smiles on your faces. You're always having a good time. I'm sitting up in the cockpit grumpy, and you're handing me load sheets and smiling and rapping on the window.
But that's the great thing about, I mean, I wish everybody could have an opportunity to jump. And, of course, not everybody has the opportunity to jump for whatever reason.
Sure.
Many reasons why. But it's just it's all that. It is the grumpy pilot on that day that you're like. I would tell you it's like manifest.
Sure.
Okay. I don't know. I haven't jumped a lot of drop zones, but the drop zone I normally drop, manifest is ran primarily. Well, I mean, it's not primary. It's all done by females. And I'm telling you what, those. I mean, think about that job.
You know why it's women?
Because they're the only ones would have tolerated it.
Because men can't do that fucking job.
No, exactly. So they get, foul weather comes in, and so now the plane's got to land. They got to get strapped down, whatever, and then of course skydivers are like, oh, what do you mean? So where am I? And I tell these ladies, I said, you just need to shut the window, man.
Oh yeah.
And, and tell them to go away.
I've done it. So
yeah, but they don't. And,
no, they don't. I actually sat once in a manifest office at a drop zone that I was working at, and every 30 seconds somebody's sticking their head not at the window, but through the window and barking this and barking that.
I know.
And I can hear the manifestors are talking as soon as the window's clear, so I know how upset they're getting, but they're being so professional and they're handling it. But I'm getting upset. And eventually I got up and I literally told someone, you need to get the fuck out of the window and close the window. And all the manifest girls turned around and they're like, that was really nice, but don't you ever fucking
exactly. But that's the great part about it. I think that's where I like to do the people watching. It's like you see, because the regulars at the drop zone. Who's the guy who or gal who likes giving manifest a hard time. And then you're like, oh, there he goes. I'll throw a name, Bob. Oh, there goes Bob. Watch this.
It's coming.
So it's all that. It's the grumpy pilot. It's the happy pilot. It's the crazy pilot. It's the nice women at manifest. It's the women who lose their mind at manifest. It's I tell you, the drop zone cats.
Yes.
Tori.
Yes.
Tori. That has got to be. Well, I can't jump without Tori.
Right.
I don't know why Tori's doing it. I don't know anybody why they're doing that job. But I know this. If they don't do that job, I can't. Sure. I can't do what I'm doing.
Well, and that's the cool thing about it,
and
too.
I don't know people really look at it that way. I think some
it takes
do.
time to be able to see it.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think that comes with experience and your age to where now I kind of sit back and I look and I go, I didn't notice that the individual who sweeps the mat.
Oh, man.
If it wasn't for that guy, there would be sand everywhere.
Dude, it's and that's the thing that a lot of people don't think is it's such a fucking team effort.
Yeah.
From A to Z.
That's right.
It really, really is. Yeah. And it's a hard lesson to learn for a lot of people because at the end of the day, skydiving is filled with fucking alphas. We're all alphas.
Yeah.
Every one of us knows the best way to do whatever needs to be done, and fuck you for thinking it should be a different way. And it takes a very special kind of alpha to not only still be that way, but to be able to go, all right, but I'm not an alpha in that job, or I'm not an alpha in that job. And all those jobs, the manifest, the pilots, the packers, the instructors, all the fun jumpers, it's a job. Being a fun jumper is a job. You have to manifest the correct way. You got to be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. You got to get the fuck out of the plane when you're supposed to be there.
Yeah, and a lot of them don't do a good job at that.
Yeah, but that's why I say it's a job that has to be done well. And so you get to a drop zone that, especially when you've had a team that's worked together for a number of years, fun jumpers and staff alike, and you see this well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing thing to see.
Yeah.
Because what we do is so frenetic and so fucking hectic and so borderline spastic out of control that if you grabbed a person off the street and sat them in a corner at the drop zone and said, this is organized, they'd shit themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Because it doesn't look like it. It looks like mayhem.
And I think it's controlled chaos.
It is controlled chaos in such a spectacular way. But again, this draws back all the way to what we talked about at the very beginning, is that the jumps are just the icing on the cake.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
The cake is all those people and all that shit going on.
That's the... I'll tell you, that's what keeps me coming back.
Man, it's interactions like this and the stories and finding out people's backgrounds and their mentalities and where they come from that makes it so fucking cool.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when I can't fly a plane anymore, when I'm too old to jump, man, have I got stories. And I've got people from literally all around the world to share those stories with, and that are going to give me different versions of the same shit.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, it's I think that's why I don't miss the military, because it's so much like being in the military.
That band of brothers. Band of brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
It really is. And that's also one of the reasons why you find out someone's a skydiver randomly.
Yeah.
And it's happened to me maybe a half a dozen times in my life that I'm in a conversation with someone that I very quickly find out is a jumper, instantly there's a bond and an understanding that you just are like, holy shit. Like I found out years back via Facebook of all things that a guy with my same family name that lives in Italy is a fucking skydiver.
Oh, that's pretty
and,
cool.
You know, and know nothing about this guy,
Yeah.
but we instantly have two bonds. We share the same last name randomly, and we're both skydivers. And it was this just super cool thing to be able to go, all right, wow, I already know so much about this guy that I've never met just because he jumps out of airplanes.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
Yeah. It's you know, I tell a lot of people I came back to work in the Middle East because of skydiving.
Yeah.
You know, I think if I couldn't skydive, I'd probably go home.
Sure.
I mean, but it's a big part of my life now, and
Sure.
and I love the team. It's a lot of work, but anything that you're passionate about or anything that you want to be successful, it's going to be a lot of work.
Sure.
And it's funny, I kind of bust Darren's balls, but you know, there's a lot of things I do with the team where, you know, as the leader of the team or the team captain or whatever the guys want to call me at the time, other than asshole, I do say, hey, you know, yeah, we're here to have fun, but at the same time, we want to improve. You say you want to improve, so that's going to require us to do certain things.
Sure.
You know? And I would tell you, the drop zones that we jumped at, the amount of skill set there. I mean, we're so fortunate where we're jumping at that, you know, at our fingertips, we have some of the best people in the world for every discipline, you know.
Well, and you know, it's some of the best lessons that I've learned have been from those very antagonistic relationships that I've fought tooth and nail, but at the end of the day, you have to concede, oh, fuck, he or she really knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Darren is a prime example of that. I mean, I'm telling you, I every jump, I'm just like, if I did that like Darren said.
Sure.
Because we, Skytrash, we're a flocking team, so we do mostly just big ways, and we try to burrow. You know, the pandemic's kind of screwed it up this year, but you know, we're doing a lot more vertical work instead of same level work. And then there's this one of the great things. Well, I won't say one of the great things, but one of the things, because of the pandemic, it's given us to where we only have one team day, and then the other days do whatever you want. If you don't want to jump, a lot of members on the team have girlfriends or wives or family, and
Sure.
I tell everybody, so look, the first thing's a job.
Sure.
You know, it used to be family, but now you really need a job to have a good family.
Damn right.
Yeah. So job, family, then skydiving.
Sure.
Now there ain't nothing between family and skydiving in my
Right,
book. So
right.
I'm like, those are the three.
Right.
You get a buy on the first two.
Yep.
But that's it. So, you know, you want to go drink late at night and not show up for the team, that I got a problem with that. But and I'll tell you a story when we sit on the shitter on the next one, but about when we jumped over the pyramids in Egypt and some of the guys wanted to drink a little bit. Chris, Kareem, and Yvonne, we agreed on it. Here's the deal. I'm kind of old school. I'm a military retiree.
Right.
So, and I'm very timely. You know that.
Sure.
I pride myself, and it's stupid. Someone's going to be like, why were you at the drop zone 2 hours before it opened up? Well, a couple of reasons. One, I wake up very early.
Sure.
And two, so I have nothing to do. And two, there's a good thing about talking shit. You can talk a lot of shit, but you got to back it.
Damn right.
So I bust a lot of balls about being late, but because I do that,
You're not late.
I'm not late.
Well,
yeah,
Well, that's the military mentality,
Yeah.
man. 30 minutes early is late.
exactly. So anyway, I'm scatterbrained right now because I can't remember what was the original. I'm fixing to turn 50.
Yeah,
They're starting the show, huh?
Shush, man, I'm already there.
Yeah. Okay, so it could be the Patron, but anyway.
Could be. Yeah, you were jumping with Kareem and the boys over the pyramids.
Yeah.
but-
So anyway, there's there's certain things that I'm a stickler on, but we had agreed that we would have a 2-beer limit because Egypt. I think we were scheduled to do 4 jumps. We only got 3, and we're pulling up. Now this is, we weren't flying as tight as we fly now.
Sure.
So we're paying all this money to go to Egypt to fly over one of the 7 wonders of the world there.
Oh yeah.
And I'm very focused. Like we have a trip planned for next year. That's going to be a pretty spectacular thing for the group, and I'm not there to fun jump.
Sure. No, you got a plan.
Right. We got a plan, and then we're going to do. So we said, okay, what's the beer? And everyone's like, okay, 2 beers. You can have 2 beers.
Right.
Now, if we agreed on 5 beers, because very rarely do I, as a team captain, go, yeah, I know y'all voted that way, but guess what? I'm overruling you. I'm using the captain thing, and I try not to do that.
Right.
And the only time I really do that is like training plan.
Sure.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I know you want to do that, but we're not ready to do that. So
right.
But so it was like a 2-beer limit, and some things happened in Egypt, and we were jumping military aircraft, so the military aircraft had to be grounded or they had to be used for something else, and we couldn't jump that day. So they were like, well, we're not jumping, so the 2-beer limit doesn't apply. Right. And of course, I'm kind of like the old grumpy granddad.
Right.
I'm like, no, I'm not going to go out for lunch. I only eat once a day anyway, so go have fun. Well,
right.
It's like 6 hours later, and I'm like, man, well, that's a long ass lunch.
Right.
And it's like 10 in the morning. Well, I mean, there's 6 beers into it.
Of course.
And of course, I'm like, look, dude, it takes each one of us to do a job. My job isn't easy, and I'm not talking about being team leader. My position's not easy.
Right.
But guess what? I know your job's not easy. Your
Sure.
position's not easy, and you're the only one who can fly that position
Right.
now. So guess what? If you're, 3 sheets to the wind there, you
right.
just blew all the money that I paid
Sure.
to do this right.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal. This is not
Yeah.
just a weekend at the home drop zone fucking around and fun jumping. This
Right.
is a big event. So
Yeah.
sure, I feel you. I feel you.
So, and I would tell you, the great thing about it is most of the members, there's some members that decided to, you know what, I love it. I think you got a great thing, but I'm going to move on.
Right.
And I can respect that. But the team that you see now, they tolerate me. They know that, hey, he's an old grumpy guy.
Right.
But you know what? He does come up with this. He does do this. He does do this. So, yeah, let's placate him and keep him happy.
Isn't that funny, man? Because I'm kind of in the same position in my life. I think I've gotten to the point where people are like, all right, he clearly knows what he's doing by now.
Yeah.
He clearly has our best interest at heart.
Yeah.
But he can be a real dick sometimes.
Yeah.
But because he's good at his job and we know he's a sweetheart some of the time, we're going to tolerate his shit.
Yeah, we're going to tolerate his shit. Yeah, and they do a good job tolerating my shit.
Yeah, and people do as well as me. And I think knowing that people are tolerating also makes me strive to give them less of a reason to have to tolerate and more of a reason to just enjoy.
Right, yeah,
Which
exactly.
isn't it? It's a good thing.
Yeah,
it really is.
And it's a fine balance.
It
that
is.
You
Well-
got to have. You look at guys like Noah, Omar, and Micah, and Graham, and Nick and Matt.
Yes.
2 amazing wingsuit pilots.
On the cutting edge.
They didn't just happen to be these great wingsuiters. I mean, they
put it in.
They put it in, and they had the discipline to do it. And
in fact, I'm going to make you go back and listen. I've done 2 podcasts with Nick and Matt.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah, man. And you'll listen to their talk about how they prep and how they plan. And it's one of my favorite stories is when they were getting ready to do a pretty intense exit on a really hardcore jump. And I guess the entire evening before, Matt spent doing his exit off the side of his pool into the swimming pool,
exactly,
trying to get that exit down.
But
that's what it takes, man.
Right, but that's what it takes to be that level.
Yeah, man.
And I would tell you, it's kind of like, I don't know if it's genetics or if it's mental, how their brain works, but not everybody can do that.
Sure.
Like,
No, of course not.
When I've been wingsuiting 5 years now, I just literally learned how to exit right.
Sure. Well,
And it's because I didn't jump out by the pool 600 times.
Sure.
Because to me, my passion's not that much.
Sure.
And that's why you need guys like Nick, Matt, and like Darren, and like Micah, and
they're leading
Graham
the way.
and all that. Yeah, and those are the guys, hey, he's teaching me how to exit because that's the guy who did 600 jumps by the pool.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, come on. At the end of the day, we've gotten into this and we do this kind of thing because above all else, we love what we do.
Yeah.
So it's honestly, the journey is the whole deal, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
The badass jumps are fantastic, but it's the community and the journey and what it takes you down.
And that's, I think that's the big part. It's the family aspect of it.
Yeah.
So
Now, that being said, how do people track down how to get to Skytrash? I know I had you pull it up. So
I'm not very social savvy, but it's wingsuit Skytrash _wingsuit _team on
Awesome.
Instagram. And I think there's a YouTube channel out there. I don't know what it is offhand. The team will give me crap about it, but
Well, I can put that up in the description as well, because I know you guys have you've done stuff like go to the pyramids, and you've got stuff planned coming up. So I know people are going to be interested. And there's a lot of people listening to the podcast, lower time skydivers that are daydreaming about being able to do the kind of things that you're doing.
yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Sure. Well, and
Yeah.
that's kind of the cool thing. And
Yeah.
one of the biggest reasons I wanted to be able to talk to you is there's a big group of people from beginners to the badasses, and those that are in the beginning see these badasses and think that's undoable. I can't do what these guys are doing. I can't jump off the Burj Khalifa and fly around it 3 times. I can't fly through these mountains in China and do all this insane stuff. But then they see a mid-level team that's learning and getting better and better and better.
Yeah,
and
I
better.
tell you, yeah, we got big plans in the future. If everything pans out to where we're going to be doing things that are amazing as a team, as a formation wingsuit team. And here's what I would tell all those people: says, hey, I'll never look. I'm sure Noah never thought he was going to be
Right.
who he is as a wingsuiter.
Sure.
Nick and Matt. And I would tell you that one day we'll all be gone.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a new Nick, a new Matt, a new
course.
Noah, and it's going to be somebody. And that's why I tell anybody, and we really wanted to try this year is not just do team, but hey, get somebody who's just starting a wingsuit
Sure.
and go, hey, come jump with us.
Well, fuck, man. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll finally put a pair of wings on.
Yeah, well, hey, as long as it doesn't ground the plane, you're welcome to come.
Yeah, well, there's other
Without
pilots.
you, I'm not jumping
There's
out
other
of the plane.
pilots.
So
There's other
yeah,
pilots.
but
Well, Michael, man, I cannot tell you how much I'm glad you came to sit down, shoot the shit with me,
Yeah,
give me the
absolutely.
background, tell the story. I fucking love hearing these stories. It's going to make watching you guys climbing on the plane that much more entertaining.
Yeah.
It really is. And thank you for not talking politics with me.
no, absolutely.
We did damn good. and
Yeah, exactly.
I honestly now believe we could have an adult conversation for more than 10 minutes about politics without killing each
yeah,
other.
my wife would be like, "Don't do it. Don't do it."
I don't think we should. I just think we could.
Yeah, absolutely, and we
Oh,
will. One day we will.
someday,
But
someday.
Dean, thanks for having me, and I look forward to. You promised me a shitter session, so
I
I'm
will.
looking
I
forward
will.
to it.
We will sit in the toilet and shoot some serious
Yeah.
shit.
And if I didn't mention anybody who's affected my my life in skydiving, please know that I'm
Fuck
very
'em.
appreciative.
Fuck them.
Yeah. yeah.
No. Guy, thank you so much, man. This
Thank
has
you,
been
Dean.
awesome. Take
All
care.
right.
Blue
Take care,
skies.
brother. Yep, blue sky.
Well, there you have it. Another episode of the Lunatic Fringe podcast brought to you as always by, well, wait, not as always, actually. Brought to you now by Gyro. Formerly known as NZ Aerosports, you'll head to gyro.com for their next level line of canopies. By Pussfoot, the Extreme Sports Collective. Head over to pussfoot.com to check it out. By Summit Parachute Systems, check out summitparachutesystems.com to talk to Jarrett Martin and the gang about kick-ass pilot rigs, rigging courses, and more. By Flyaway Indoor Skydiving, go to flyawaytn.com and check out all the cutting-edge stuff to come. By Pure Spectrum CBD, head to purespectrumcbd.com to check out their wide range of CBD products. And as for us, head to the lunaticfringepodcast.com to listen to any of the hundreds of episodes currently available. Hit the link for our YouTube channel, pick up your copy of the Lunatic Fringe book or The Accidental Stripper, and get a sneak peek at upcoming guests. Once again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Damn.